Hey, so Brendan, you know how to get over a fear of elevators? It takes steps to avoid them. And the only thing flat earthers have to fear is sphere itself. Sphere. Okay, well, I have a fear of fences, but I just can't get over it. You're almost laughing. I have an irrational fear of moving stairs, and it's escalating. Okay. Let's just cut those, right? They're gone? Yeah, they're gone. Okay. We're recording this during the COVID lockdown, that time when we bought toilet paper by the ton, and our cars got 43 days to the gallon there for a while, didn't they? The uncertainty and fear surrounding COVID was certainly new to us. But for those who lived through the polio epidemic, it's strangely familiar. During the first half of the 20th century, no one knew what caused it or how it was transmitted. Wild theories spread rapidly. Some said that it came from stray cats or imported bananas. Everyone knew there was no known cure. This contagious virus could cause nerve injury leading to paralysis, difficulty breathing, and sometimes death. Each summer, for 4 decades, movie theaters and swimming pools were closed for what became known as polio season. Parents kept their kids from playgrounds and birthday parties fearing that they would catch polio. Each year in the 1940s and 50s, polio paralyzed or killed over 500,000 people. Children were taken from their families and isolated in sanitariums or confined to an iron lung. A vaccine was developed and finally introduced in 1955 by Jonas Salk, who interestingly tested it on himself and his own family before becoming one of the world's most celebrated scientists. When asked by a journalist who owned the patent, Salk responded, "The people. There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?" Forbes estimates that if he owned the patent, he could have earned $7 billion. From dark times, bright stories emerge, and I love them, like this one. In 1948, retired schoolteacher Eleanor Abbott was diagnosed with polio. During her convalescence in a San Diego hospital, she was surrounded by children suffering from this horrible disease. Left alone in hospitals without their parents, many were overcome by feelings of abandonment and homesickness. Others were forced to spend days inside an iron lung. Look that up. It's amazing. They only had brief breaks to sit up and play simple games on their beds. Eleanor dreamed of doing something to help them, but what? Finally, she had an idea. Could she create a board game for bored kids? A game to cheer and entertain them, to help them escape, if just for a few hours? She came up with Monopoly. No, she didn't. Monopoly has caused more fights in our house than anything else, I think. But keep in mind that these kids were as young as 3. Could she invent a game that required no reading or writing? The answer was yes. She built a simple racing board game that only required minimal counting skills, no tough choices, no strategy, just the ability to follow simple instructions. Even young kids could move their gingerbread man along the fun pathways on the colorful board game. She called it Candyland. The kids loved it. It was perfect for children confined indoors. In fact, the game became so popular among those young patients that Eleanor Abbott decided to let toy manufacturer Milton Bradley in on it, and it quickly became the best-selling board game in their history. I am inspired by this remarkable woman, one who dreamed of lightening the burdens of others. When she was down, she lifted them up. Oswald Chambers, author of the classic My Utmost for His Highest, wrote, "Readiness for God means that we are ready to do the tiniest little thing or the great big thing. It makes no difference. Whatever God's program may be, we are there, ready. When any duty presents itself, we hear God's voice as our Lord heard His Father's voice." Do you wonder if your life will count for much? Simply be faithful, one right step at a time. 1 Peter 4 says, "Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides." Today, Candyland sells an average of 1 million units a year. And what did Eleanor Abbott do with the royalty income from her best-selling game? She donated it to charities dedicated to serving children in need. Now that's sweet. Subscribe to Laugh Again TV. Oh, subscribe to Laugh Again TV.